When you're pitching your cues to potential libraries, publishers, or music supervisors, often presentation matters as much as production quality, which is why I am thrilled to welcome back to the podcast Sam Hulick and Sara Pocius, the co-owners of ReelCrafter, which has quickly become an industry standard for pitching and having your EPK or playlist to pitch to libraries. And so they are here to talk to us about ReelCrafter, what's brand new in their latest 2.5 update, and we are unveiling a brand new partnership exclusively for the friends and family of 52Qs called the Sync Accelerator. If you want to learn more, stick around for this week's episode of the 52Qs podcast. What is happening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 52Qs podcast, where each week we explore the world of production and library music. My name is Dave Croft, and it is so good to be with you here today. Whether you are watching on YouTube or listening to the audio on the go, just know that I appreciate you spending part of your day here with me. Also, I appreciate our family, friends, and neighbor subscribers of 52Qs who are composers just like you, looking to write better music and find success in the sync music industry. And 52Qs is there to help with Zoom feedback sessions, workshops, live streams, pitching to real music libraries, an amazing community, and a ton more. If you want to learn more, head over to 52qs.com. It is free to join, and subscription tiers start at around $4 a month. We would love to have you. So on today's episode, I just want to jump right in and so happy to welcome back to the podcast Sam Hulick and Sara Pocius, the co-owners of ReelCrafter. I'm a huge fan of ReelCrafter, and we've got some exciting things to talk about, not least of which is their brand new ReelCrafter 2.5 update and a new feature that we are unveiling exclusively for the friends and family of 52Q. So without further ado, here's my recent conversation with Sam and Sara of ReelCrafter. So she's an amazing creative person, visual designer, creative director, and he is a composer and the code monkey. Is that your official? Is that what it says on your business card? Code monkey?
It might.
And an amazing composer in his own right. They have been here on the podcast before, and we are so thrilled to welcome back Sara Pocius and Sam Hulick of ReelCrafter. Thunderous applause. The engineer who's going to put in Leo, I guess. Leo, put in thunderous applause right there. Sam and Sara, welcome back to the podcast. How have you guys been?
Great.
Good.
Good to be here again. It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, it has been a while. And the last time we chatted here on the podcast, I think was like right after Taxi, I think, was a road rally or PMC. I just remember having the shiny pen, and that was what I used for the thumbnail, that amazing pen that we have now used, that same pen company. And so really excited about all of that. But definitely wanted to bring you back on the podcast here today for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think you guys are great, and I love what you do. And I think ReelCrafter is one of the very few industry standards in our side of the business that is really good for composers. And we've talked about like everything that's going on with SoundCloud and, all of the AI wonkiness. And we've talked about some of these other tools which could be helpful, but I really can't think of any tool out there that is specifically designed for composers to not only host their music, but also use to pitch to library. So having you back on is a real treat. Really excited about some things we're going to talk about a little bit later, but also ReelCrafter has recently gone through a big version upgrade and some things that you guys have been working on for a while. Can you tell us about some of the new features of ReelCrafter 2.5?
Sure. It has been a long time coming. Like it's in the works it's funny because I'll look at the code and it reminds you like who wrote this specific line of code and when. And it's kind of embarrassing because I'll go through code and like, oh, written by Sam Hulick 3 years ago. I'm like, oh man, it's been a long time. It's a lot of work, without boring people with technical details. It was mostly kind of like an under the hood update. There's this thing called tech debt, where if you just hang around on the same old code for years, it can just sort of amass into a mess and be hard to maintain, difficult to build new features upon. So mostly under the hood changes to bring us to 2.5. But we also wanted to deliver some new stuff, so it wasn't like, hey, 2.5 is out, and then people are like, well, what's new? Like, nothing. It's just more stable, and that's not very exciting, right?
I mean,
No one
there's a
wants to hear
lot
that.
new. You just can't see any of it. So.
Yeah, fewer
Right.
bugs. Yeah, that's not really exciting. That doesn't.
Yeah, under the hood, it's
That-
shiny. You just can't see it.
yeah.
So we did want to roll out some features to people pleasers, especially things that were either high demand features or big pain point solvers. So at the end of August, we rolled out the new version, kind of like a soft launch, just so people can gradually opt into the new platform. We don't like to just force people onto something new because people kind of hate change. So we're like rolling it out over time. But we rolled out some new features like global search, which we kind of had actually in V2, but it felt kind of half-baked. The idea was that you could search for anything in your library from wherever you are. So you can look for reels, tracks, images, and videos. But now it's been improved, just the overall interface, and being able to click into things to oh, here's the search results, and you can click into a track and jump to it, or click on the folder and just jump to that folder. So that got a whole new, fresh coat of paint. Smart folders is a new one that we rolled out. It's kind of hard to explain, but for people who use Apple smart mailboxes, it's the same thing kind of. It's like a dynamic search that sort of poses as a folder. So you can set your search criteria on the folder itself. And whenever you click the folder, it'll do a search, and whatever matches will show up in that folder. So it's like a virtual folder kind of. It doesn't really contain things, but it's a quick way to access like preset searches.
Yeah, and it solves a huge problem with people who like to work. I know there's other platforms out there where people can kind of have one track and it lives in multiple places, virtually. So this will solve that problem. So I want this one track to be in this folder and this folder at the same time. So I think that's a huge pain point solver for people who like to work like that. So
they want to break the laws of
Yes.
file system physics. Like, you can't put something in two folders. You can, it's a duplicate, but that's kind of messy, and we don't really encourage people to make a mess of their library. So
Right. Yeah.
another big one is reel thumbnails. This is actually, it's a minor thing, but it's kind of huge in a way, because previously when you have your reel library, you just have a flat list of reels, just text only, right? Now we have a list view and a grid view for every type of file or thing. So audio tracks, images, you can flip between list and grid. And the grid view for reels is really cool because you can visually see like a thumbnail screenshot of what the reel looks like. So you can just immediately identify a reel just based on how it looks, instead of looking at text and trying to figure out like, oh, this reel version 5, what does that mean? But being able to see it visually is really cool. Especially if you're a really good designer, then you have this really beautiful sort of gallery that you can click through and browse through. So
that part makes me really happy.
yeah, it just looks really snazzy.
Well, I think that points to one of the main strengths of ReelCrafter, because if you look at, some of the competition, shall we say, it looks like a playlist, and that's great. It is what it
gets
is,
the
and it
job
does
done.
what it does, and which is fine. Some people want that white label kind of experience, right? But they also probably, buy cereal in a bag that's unmarked, from discount stores, which is totally fine. I'm not saying those are discount. My point is that one of the main concepts that ReelCrafter brings to the table that, quite frankly, really excited us over at Full Sail, because you guys have been working with Full Sail now for a little over a year, I think, right? Hasn't it been that way?
Yep.
And we shifted from, our students building portfolio websites kind of in Wix, which is fine, but you kind of need to know what you're doing a little bit. But to bring students into ReelCrafter so that we could start putting some professional looking reels and some tools in the hands of our students who might not necessarily be graphically oriented. And Sara, that was pretty important for ReelCrafter and what it brings to the table. And I'm assuming that continues with 2.5, but creating a good looking reel was pretty top of mind, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like my whole goal with this, I mean, someone who is a designer and I have, skills to do, I take it for granted. I can just open up Photoshop and whip up a banner real fast. I realize not everybody can do that. So my goal is to make sure it's as easy as possible to create something really beautiful. So, and as I love when people are like, "Oh, this is so easy," and I'm like, "Oh, I've done my job." So,
Yeah. Mission
yes.
accomplished. Yeah, and I realized we just dived straight into ReelCrafter 2.5 and all the new changes. Sam, can you give us, just for somebody out there who's like, real what? Can you just briefly talk about what ReelCrafter is and kind of what its raison d'etre is?
Sure. It's all based around the pitch, right? Being able to upload samples of your music, even video, like people who work in video as a medium, just for them to upload their content and showcase it to people. Because like you said, there are platforms where you can deliver files, like playlists, like SoundCloud, Dropbox, but there was nothing that was sort of purpose built with the idea of pitching. Like this is all centered around like me sending stuff and knowing that they opened it and knowing what they listened to or played, and sort of getting that engagement feedback as they listen. And yeah, and knowing when to follow up too, like based on when they open it. You don't have to be creepy in the email 2 days later. Hey, did you check it out yet? Like you can get a sense based on the tracking, like, oh, they opened it, so I'll just wait like a couple more days and let them soak it in. So
yeah, it kind of fills that middle ground in between like write, submit, and the forget and repeat. The submit and forget part, which can be really, really tough. We talked about this here on the podcast, and it was, in 2023, the whole kind of year of taxi thing that we were doing. One of the challenges is putting something out there and then wondering, is this getting heard? Are folks really listening to this? And so what was ReelCrafter, was this something that didn't exist and you made it exist because you wanted it to use for
Yeah.
yourself? Is this a tool that
yes, yeah.
you made your own hammer because you needed to build a house?
Yeah, and that was actually the problem that I was initially solving at the very beginning. Was like I was sending stuff out and just like, did they open it? Like maybe it wound up in their spam folder, or they played it and they thought it sucked and they just didn't write back. So trying to figure out like, what is it? Which one of those things actually happened? And that's sort of like where the idea started from. It's just knowing that someone opened it or not and what they played. And then it sort of just ballooned from there into like this whole feature set. Because just the natural progression of releasing software, getting feedback from the initial customers, hey, it'd be cool if it also did this and this and this. And then it just builds out into this thing. Which also presents another challenge of knowing when to say no, because you can't build every feature to satisfy everyone, right? Then you're just this platform that isn't focused. So everything that we build, we try to keep in mind like the original mission of like showcasing your work, getting hired, working with clients.
Yeah. How do you balance the releasing it into the universe and what will be versus furiously refreshing the the analytics to see how many times things have been watched? I guess what I'm asking is, what is your recommendation on how composers should use that information?
It is easy to obsess and like go back and look. You can opt into email notifications, so when they open it, you don't have to go check, right? You'll get an email saying, hey, they opened your reel, and then you can hit the link. I would say the best advice I can give is to make sure the demo reel is short and concise, as short as possible. If you can say something, if you can make an impact in 2 to 3 tracks, then do that. Less is more. And people will open reels and not play. It's just a thing that happens. Like they might look at it and be like, oh, cool, I'll get to this later. And to us, we just naturally see it as negative, like, oh my God, they opened it and they didn't play it. This is terrible. But it could be anything. They weren't in the right mindset to sit down and really absorb it. So don't obsess over that, and just wait, just be patient and give them time to get back to your reel and listen to it.
Yeah. And I would say we've learned, since we've been doing this now for like 8 years, skipping is not a bad thing. People are going to skip. Very rarely do they sit down, hit play, listen all the way through. Especially if you're, doing production music, they're looking for specific things in that waveform and hoping to find a certain part that they're trying to, fulfill for this project. So they're going to skip around, and they're looking for something specific, and it's not necessarily bad. So, or they've heard enough to make an opinion, which might be positive, but they can skip and move on. So that's one of the biggest lessons I think we've learned that stresses a lot of people out.
Yeah, yeah, because I can imagine. I mean, I've sent off pitch emails, and a couple of days, I'm like, oh, maybe they didn't listen. Oh, and so having that data can be very helpful, but I can see where it could go to the dark side, if you get kind of obsessed about it. My solution is to just keep pitching, because if you have so many pitches out there, it's kind of, you're not putting all your eggs into one basket, and you're just staring at the basket, hoping that something hatches. Sara, I know that you're a designer. You're also a marketing guru and copywriter and everything. Do you have any recommendations for tools that folks should use in their reels, whether it's like the design tool, GPT, and doing a bio, and like what kind of copy and look and feel should be in a really successful reel?
Again, talking about like not everybody uses Photoshop. There are so many free tools out there now. So like obviously Canva, I think a lot of people have heard of Canva. So if you want to create, like even if it's just one branded banner or a simple logo to personalize your reel, choose some colors that, speak to you as an artist. And then Adobe also has a tool called Adobe Express, which also you can build banners similar to Canva. They have a free version. You just need to have an Adobe login. So same thing with Canva. Like obviously you're gonna have to create an account, but then you can make really cool graphics. I would say, when I say invest, you don't have to hire a professional photographer, but make sure you have a nice headshot. And a lot of people like to do, like, maybe you could do a shot in your studio if you have a nice setup, or if you do a recording session or something live, try to get some nice, posed shots that you can use in your reels. Cause that adds a lot of, personality, and then you stand out from the crowd. It's not just that basic playlist. And then the next time you send something, if you're using consistent branding, people will be like, oh yeah, that's that artist. I really liked what they sent last time. So, and then in terms of copy, like everybody, I use ChatGPT all the time to help me with writing. Obviously, you still need to edit it heavily.
To assist with writing, yes.
Assist with writing. If you train it well enough, you can get it to your tone of voice. For bios, I would say simple. No one wants to read your entire, life story, even if it's really interesting. So you need to make sure you give them the basics, and don't overwhelm them. So.
Yeah, the bio shouldn't start like, in 1973, I was birthed into the world. No, I don't think that matters. It's just kind of like, if you think of the bio on your reel, like the resume that you're sending off to a job, you might have worked as a lifeguard in high school, but that is irrelevant if you're like getting a job, I don't know, in finance. So they don't need to know that you spent a summer as a lifeguard. They don't need to know, your whole life story. But it's interesting about GPT, because we use GPT. Shannon is a big Claude fan. Her and Claude get along swimmingly. And I heard, I don't know if it was a seminar I was at or something, but AI tools aren't going away, and we're gonna put AI in music just in a box way over there. We're not gonna look at it. That's not what we're gonna talk about today. But AI writing tools, and the thought was, and it might have been a professor's subreddit or something, but we can't put the genie back in that bottle, right? It is here, and so let's learn to use it, like Sam, you were saying, as a writing assistant, not as a copywriter. But at the end of the day, if we can't avoid AI, then if a potential library is looking at a pitch from composer A and a pitch from composer B, the composer that uses GPT to do the entire writing, like the whole pitch, versus somebody who either wrote the pitch or used LLMs to just kind of, copy edit as opposed to copyright, then the one that has the most human interaction is going to win out. Do you agree with that? Do you have any thoughts on, because
Yeah.
nobody, I don't think anybody's saying, never use AI, because I think that's a little short-sighted. But Sam, your thoughts?
It's such a gray area, and I think that there's a line where GPT can sound like AI, and people can pick it out. Like, we've gotten emails from customers sometimes, like, we can tell that it's ChatGPT. They probably just said, "I'm too busy to write this email. Just do it for me." I would try especially with the bio, it's such a personal thing. I would try to write it yourself. And either like a third person or a first person. Like Blake Neely is like one of the few composers who writes in the first person about himself, which is cool.
I think I prefer first person, unless you're someone super, super famous.
Mine's third person. What does that say?
I think mine is too.
I mean, you're
I didn't write it though. I didn't write it, right? I had someone else write it for me. Not AI. I had a publicist at the time.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I would say try to write yourself if you can. It just it is more authentic. One thing that I think is useful for AI in terms of sync and production is interpreting briefs that may not be very clear, because some briefs are like kind of all over the place and you're like, I don't know what they want. And just paste it into either AI and say, what do you take from this? Like, what are they really asking for? I think it could be useful in that. But as far as building reels, you can use it as an assistant. Even with our code, like we have 2 developers and we use AI to assist in code, but it doesn't really replace us. And what it does, it just helps us move a little faster, or maybe tackle certain things that are beyond our capabilities. Like if it's like really heavy algorithmic stuff or mathematic, we lean on AI for that. And of course, everything is like proofed and double checked and tested. So I think it's good as an assistant. Like I said, it shouldn't be intended as a replacement for artists.
I think another place it could be really helpful is if you're doing a cold email, write your email and then maybe give it to GPT and be like, okay, this needs to be short, concise, still needs to be personal. Like, I've done my research. So maybe it can help you like pare it down, or maybe you give it like, here are 3 things that I liked from, this contact I'm trying to create a connection with, and it can like maybe guide you in like, maybe what should you say? Don't give this example, give this example instead. It can be really helpful for helping you shorten things and just
it's an amazing copy editor. It's just a average copywriter. Yes. Like if you want your copy to sound pretty milquetoast, just generic, then have it. And as somebody who reads discussion posts from students, I'm looking at you, Full Sail students. I know using AI, I can tell the ones who just kind of copied and pasted the question in and just hit send. I'm also looking at you, M dashes. Those are the tells.
I have such strong feelings about the M dash. I love the M dash. Working in advertising copywriting, I used to typeset for all my copywriters for 20 years, and the M dash is like
unfairly maligned.
We used it before AI.
I was gonna say, all of these models were trained on the writing that's out there, so now everybody looks at M dash and it's like, it's been used for ever. It's just the GPTs have like just grabbed onto it. So
yeah, it's a little sus when I see an email or a discussion post or something like that from a student who up to that point had not really used punctuation, and capitalization and sentence structures and bullets and heading tags, to suddenly get like something that looks like it was straight out of an ebook. Right. That's a little suspect.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just say, like, I look back at my writing even from college, and I was always about the M dash and the ellipsis, and I love a good semicolon, but that's just me.
I think that's the big tell. If it's a certain combination of things, like it has M dashes, it has bullet lists, and it's like, maybe there's emojis for the header. It's like, okay, this is clearly just copy and pasted from ChatGPT.
I've gotten to the point where I am yelling in all caps, stop using emojis. I don't, emojis have their place, believe me. But yeah, that, and the M dashes, see, I'm an N dash guy. And so I like my N dash, but the M dash is like this kind of finger breaking key combination in order to get it to actually work. But when it starts showing up like everywhere, then yeah. So my sincerest, my condolences to all of those M dash lovers out there, but sadly it is getting swept up into the AI apocalypse here. And so yeah. Now you guys, next week, actually it's this week as this is airing, it is Thursday of the PMC. By the way, how was your PMC? You guys had a good time? How's it been going?
Yeah, great. Yeah, busy.
Great.
We're at the table waiting to talk to everybody.
Yes. And so now this isn't your first PMC. You guys are sponsors of PMC. You're going to have a table there and everything.
Is it our third?
It's a fourth.
Fourth. Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy. And we've sponsored it. 4 years in a row. So.
Yeah. So tell us about the PMC, how the importance and why you guys, invest in going and sponsoring and all of that. Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement there and what you think?
Yeah,
the
I think there's a lot of alignment in, between the attendees of PMC and our customers. Like these are people who are making music for business and who are pitching all the time, which is a great indicator of someone who could benefit from using Reelcrafter. So, but yeah, anything to add to that, Sarah? Like when did I'm trying to think how we got started with PMC. I think, did they reach out to us?
No, we reached out to them, but it was just like we were looking, it's just a conference that had just been on our radar. And this was, right before the pandemic is when we were like, okay, we're going to start doing conferences. And then I was like, oh, okay, we're not going to do
that's right.
this.
It was a tip from What Up Pitches, right?
I think so.
You should look them up, Dave. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Yep.
But yeah, they told us about PMC and Durango and a couple others. And so that's what it was. We looked them up and then looked into PMC and decided to reach out. So yeah, it's been great for us so far.
And we host the
Excellent.
Demo Derby, which is a lot of fun, which is not a traditional demo derby. It's basically music supervisors listening the way they would listen in the privacy of their own office, which is the skipping and the going back and jumping around. And I think that was just so educational for, especially people who've never really, sent stuff to a supervisor before, so they know what to expect, what's going to happen on the other end when you send your workout. So, and then it really gets them talking about why they skipped around. So it's just every time we go, we get so many nuggets of great information.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first went in 2022, I had a cue that I submitted in the Demo Derby that was very well received. And that was such a shot in the arm, just of encouragement and all of that.
I think I was there.
And yeah, I think you were.
That was a great piece.
Yep. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But I know that we've got some folks this year who have submitted up to the Demo Derby and looking forward to that. And I think, yeah, you guys are the perfect folks to host that using the platform, because I think folks, you're actually going to be like demoing the reels or demoing the tracks on a reel. And yeah, it's you guys being involved at PMC is just kind of obvious because these are your people. And to that point, I also want to say that for you 52 Qs folks, you're probably going to hear the name Reelcrafter a little bit more around these parts, because for the first time ever, and I have been podcasting, guys, since 2005. This is pre-iTunes. This is back in the old Drummer Talk days. And if you listen to podcasts, any level of podcast, you're going to get like blasted with like VPN ads and like BetterHelp and Eat Fresh and Chewy and all these, which are great products, right? I am not maligning those products, but I am so excited to welcome you guys on board to supporting us here and what we are doing at 52 Qs on a bigger level, on a sponsorship type of a level, and specifically sponsoring one of the new initiatives that we are rolling out here at 52 Qs. And as of today, this is actually launching today as you are listening to this, we are rolling out a new feature for our family and friends subscribers that we are calling the Sync Accelerator, brought to you in part by ReelCrafter. And so what the Sync Accelerator is a program and a feature where we are going to gather cues together and we are going to pitch them to albums. Unlike the briefing room, which we have over for our family subscribers, which is relationships that we have with libraries, they reach out to us and we kind of mobilize the 52 Cues family to write cues either for sports or either going up to this library or to Netflix shows or whatever. So that's very much kind of like a partnership with different libraries that we have in place. However, I think there is a real need for our members to have somewhere to kind of point their energy that is in an educational environment. We talk about how here at 52 Cues, it's kind of like a teaching hospital, right? These are real patients and you are a real doctor. You are going to put a needle into somebody's arm and I'm here to help you out if you miss the vein, right? And so that having been said, the Sync Accelerator is a program that's going to be ongoing where we are putting albums together for our family and friends subscribers, and we are going to be pitching them to libraries and specifically leveraging the amazing tools and analytics that ReelCrafter brings to the table, which I am beyond excited about digging in, getting really deep, using ReelCrafter to pitch, using ReelCrafter to follow, like who's watching, who's listening to what. And see, now I'm going to be the one furiously refreshing my ReelCrafter page and analytics. But I just want to say I'm so excited and I can't think of a company and folks who are as good of a fit for what we're doing here, because I'm not interested in just bringing in somebody along the lines and they like pay us some money and we, tell everybody to go to chewy.com for your pet needs. That is not a sponsored pitch. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it and to the Sync Accelerator and really excited to have you on board with us here at 52 Cues.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're really excited to be part of it. And I think it's always good to have a sponsor that fits well with the audience so they don't feel like they're being sold to. It's like, oh, it's actually something that is really useful to me in my career. So yeah, we're really glad that it's a sponsorship that you can feel good about too.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to really digging into the tools. It's just like you said, how kind of you built a thing and then it kind of organically grew into what it is now. Mm-hmm. This is the exact same way. Not every 52 Cues member or subscriber is ready to jump like into the family where you're getting like weekly feedback and office hours and all of that kind of stuff. But they're wanting something more than just kind of watching the live streams or, posting in the community. And so the Sync Accelerator, which runs alongside and is somewhat related to the Album Accelerator, which is a 6-module program if you are looking at writing sync albums that you can pitch. And that accelerator talks about how you can pitch and write the pitch and everything. But the Sync Accelerator is specifically focused on gathering cues, putting albums together that we are going to pitch together. And more details you can check out right now. If you are a 52 Cues member, you can head over to 52cues.com, jump in the community, and click on Sync Accelerator there on the left-hand panel. And our friends over at ReelCrafter were so generous that if you are brand new to ReelCrafter, you can use the code 52CuesSA to get 2 months free. You can get your first 2 months free. No strings attached, no credit card required. If you want to jump into ReelCrafter and start leveraging those tools yourself, again, that code is 52CuesSA, and you could access that by going to realcrafter.com/52cues. Did I miss anything? Did I say this is so brand new? I've never in my entire
brand spanking new.
In my now 20 years? Oh my gosh, I've been podcasting for 20 years. I've never said like use the code 52Q. I've never done that. So did I do it right? Did I miss anything?
I think it sounds good.
I think that's it. You put it in just like a regular coupon code. It's a 14-day free trial. And then when the trial ends, you can choose a plan. It doesn't just roll into a plan.
It's the 2 months. It's the 2 months,
what I'm
right?
saying, you get your first 2 weeks free. on the trial.
There's a free trial for
It's a
everyone.
free trial.
Gotcha.
And then I always tell people, use your 2 weeks and then use your coupon.
Gotcha.
So 2 months and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 weeks, your first 10 weeks for free. I'm so new at this. I barely know what I'm doing, but it's okay because I couldn't imagine doing it with people that I believe in more, because I'm not going to just ask anybody to come sponsor the podcast. It's got to make sense.
Thank you.
It's got to be a service and a product from people I believe in, people I trust, and a product that is relevant and means something. You know, every single listener of the 52 Qs podcast can benefit from checking out ReelCrafter. And I do not say that flippantly or lightly, or just because, you know, you guys are now sponsors of the podcast. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. So again, go to reelcrafter.com/52Qs. You can get your first 2 months free. I will get better at this. Use the code 52QSA. All right, so let's talk about what's on the horizon for ReelCrafter, because you know how it goes. You launch a new version and you're already working on the next version. You're already working on new features. So what are some things that are on the wish list that maybe these brand new subscribers who are going to join because they've entered the code 52QSA, what are some new features that they can look forward to or that are on your radar?
Probably the biggest one that's coming soon, maybe like I would say any week now, any day now, is custom domains. And it's funny, you mentioned Wix earlier, it kind of ties into that. The idea is that you can point a domain or subdomain to ReelCrafter and use that to attach to your share links, which are the links that you send, that you attach to a reel to send out to people. So you could have like epk.whatever.com/ something, or even just your website. You could point 52qs.com to a ReelCrafter reel, and that's your one pager. So incredibly powerful feature that's in high demand for. I mean, there was a period of time where every week we had 4 people asking, "Hey, when are we going to have custom domains?" So 2.5 getting done was sort of the precursor it depended on. So now that's out. Custom domains probably in the next. Well, we're fast forwarding. We're in the future right now. So any day.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I know I've talked to a lot of folks who took my advice. They got their business cards and they put their QR code, on their business card and all of that. And now they're like, oh, I need to point that domain somewhere. And so yes, to have your own website, whether it's Squarespace or Wix or WordPress or whatever, and then embed. But if you're not ready for all of that, being able to point it directly to a ReelCrafter page, ReelCrafter Reel, and not have to pay for web hosting, I think that's stellar. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, exactly. They get to replace a hosting fee, which can easily be $20 a month. And so why do that? When you're already paying for ReelCrafter and using it to pitch, that can just be your one-stop shop for everything.
Yeah, especially if your page essentially has everything that would be on your reel anyway.
Right, exactly.
But you have to add your own, bio slots and all of that. So yeah, really, really excited about that. Any other features? I know that custom domains was a big one. Anything else on the radar?
There's a couple things that are sort of loosely planned. One is actually for sync. And I got the idea actually that one year when we were together in the same room and they had your piece played, and I was watching the panel and sort of watching them interact with people's reels and how they skipped around and talking about edit points, right? Like the chorus and the bridge. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if in ReelCrafter you could define the edit points yourself and drop like a line, a marker, and say this is the chorus and this is the bridge, so they can just skip right to that point instead of trying to hunt for it and seek through the waveform. That's something that we're kind of exploring. There's some other stuff I'm going to remain a little mysterious about.
I understand.
Some stuff we're exploring for video game composers that could be potentially huge. That's in maybe early next year. But yeah, so we have multiple things that we're sort of like looking at in terms of not just things that we think are cool, but also customer demand. Like, we're a very democratic platform where people who vote for features, there's a page where they can actually literally vote for features. And so we try to look at the list of like, what is the most high demand feature next that would, make people happy, make it easier for them to pitch their stuff and get hired. So, and custom domains is very high on the list. So
Yeah, and I
That's
think
why that's happening.
along with custom domains, we're working on just ways to kind of, since it's going to act like as an actual like website for people, just tools to give you a little more design control. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some jump link navigation at the top. I mean, I don't want to overpromise. Sam's the coder, but
Maybe a form, so you can drop in a form, or people can just put in their name and a message, and it emails you. But because when you become sort of a web host, now there are certain expectations. Like, okay, so now I have to be able to drop in a form or have jump links, and so
Yeah.
we have to find a happy middle ground where like we don't want to really become a web host, even though we kind of are already. But we still want to focus on the pitch and delivering audio and video, but have enough features for the custom domains where it makes sense for people to host their website with us and rely on it.
I was going to say the domain pack, so you're able to buy, it's like what, a pack of 5 domains?
It's a pack of 5. Yeah, so you basically purchase a pack of like 5 domains / subdomains.
Yeah, which is way less than paying for an actual web host. And it will be available even to the free plan. So somebody who has the free plan will be able to spin it into a website for way less than a Wix or a Squarespace site. So
yeah, and with the design tools and everything kind of in place and focused on Reels. And this is music and portfolio, and this is my EPK. Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, which is why I'm so excited with the Sync Accelerator. You mentioned the edit point tool. I think that's going to go hand in hand with some of your other tools, because you have some other kind of like editing type tools, like making like cut downs or other kind of versions. Tell me a little bit about those features.
Yeah, the snippet editor, which has been around since day one, pretty much. The first version, way back in 2016, has gone through several iterations, and today's version is clearly the best version of it. But it's a tool that lets you non-destructively edit audio that you've uploaded to Reelcrafter. So you can upload a WAV file or an AIFF, and then you can trim down to like the part of the track that like you really want to have them focus on, because oftentimes there's like a build-up, there's like an intro, it's not as interesting, and they're going to skip, of course. And so using the snippet editor, you can highlight the 30-second or 50-second part of the track that you want them to listen to and have it start right at the interesting point so that they don't skip, in theory. So, and non-destructively, so it doesn't modify the original track. It just makes a copy of it and provides like an MP3 snippet.
Yeah,
and they can download that too. They can download the snippet if they want, or you can just have it stream. You have full control over what they can actually access in your reel, what they can download, what they can't. You can password protect the reels on a per link basis. So, which Sara mentioned earlier, something we should talk about is the share link feature is a big thing with production music, because oftentimes you have an album or EPK that you are pitching to different libraries. And so you can create multiple links to that one reel and name them according to the recipient. So this can be for like BMG, this is for Warner Chappell, and not have to duplicate the reel over and over and over again. So if you make an edit to that reel, if you change the order or remove something that wasn't as strong, like a track kept getting skipped, you can take it out of the running, and it updates the reel for all the people that you send it to across those share links.
Yeah, this is literally what we are going to be using it for the Sync Accelerator, because we're going to make an album, and I'll talk much more about the Sync Accelerator and give you more details. I don't want to have you guys sit there and hear me talk about all that.
It's your show too.
Yeah. But one of the things is we're going to pitch to a library, and if for whatever reason that library passes, that's okay. We're going to pitch it to another library. We're going to keep pitching these cues, these albums, until they find homes. And so these tools, the edit point stuff, the analytics, really looking forward to the edit point.
Now we have to make it happen. Now it's like
now you have to, yeah, because Dave wants it.
Well, for your Sync Accelerator, the way that the share links work is that every time you make an individual share link, that's what you'll see on your analytics. So you'll be able to see exactly which library is doing what when you send those links out, which is one of the coolest things about Reelcrafter, I think, still.
Yeah, 100%. And other services have some kind of analytics, but this is like deep analytics on steroids that I think are really going to be effective, especially if you are pitching regularly, which with the Sync Accelerator, we will be.
Yep. That's another thing we're going to also improve is the way that sessions are tracked. Because right now they open up a reel and it just sends events to like our servers, like play, pause, seek, and then they leave the page and you don't know that they actually left. We're going to see no promises. We're going to look into like having a way where it's a connection to the reel, and when they close the window or tab, you can tell that they closed, and so then you know how much time they actually spent on the reel instead of sort of like ballparking it based on the last event. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff coming.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Not just, selfishly for what we're doing with you guys, but just for all of your success and just good people making good tools that are helping people move themselves forward, like in their career and everything. And so I'm really proud, could not be prouder to have Reelcrafter partner with 52Qs. And thank you guys. Thank you for all of your support over the years. And thank you for being a friend to the show, a friend to me and Shannon. And I love everything that's going on over at Full Sail. And so, yeah, the future looks bright.
We're really excited.
Bright. Once again, a huge word of thanks to Sam and Sara for joining me here on the podcast. And like always, we will have links in the description, but you can go to reelcrafter.com/52Qs and use the code 52QSA, that's 52CUES, to get your first 2 months free of Reelcrafter. And I will get better at saying those things. Like I said in the interview, this is all brand new territory for me. I've been podcasting since 2005, never had sponsors or anything like I mentioned. And so I'll get better at this. And I believe in these guys. I believe in the product. These are good people. And yeah, that's who I want to partner with. And so if you are looking for a playlist, an EPK, a website, an electronic press kit, then Reelcrafter, you should absolutely consider them. And I could not be happier to have them partnering with us for the brand new Sync Accelerator. And so, this is all brand new. Nobody's ever really done anything like this. But what I do know is that we have an amazing community of folks, many of whom just want somewhere to kind of point their energy to. So for you family and friends subscribers, this is baked into your subscription. Later down the line, we'll explore the possibility of opening it up kind of to the general audience here. But I do know that folks who are subscribed on the family and friends level are already doing mentoring. They're already learning the process. They're already kind of investing, in their careers and getting better at this. And so I could not think of a better place to start the Sync Accelerator than with our friends and family subscribers. And if you are interested, then head over to 52qs.com. Subscription tiers start at $4 a month. That's their neighbor tier. And then the family and friends, that starts at $20 a month, or actually a little bit less than that if you pay annually. But all of that information you can check out at 52qs.com. We would absolutely love to have you. And I'm glad you were here with me today. This might be your first time ever seeing me. And if so, you're like, who is this bald dude with white glasses and what's he about? Well, I am all about production and library music. I've been teaching production music for well over 12 years. I've been a college professor for nearly 25 years. I love teaching. It's what I do, and it just comes out of me. If you want more, then go ahead and subscribe, follow if you're listening to the podcast, because I do release material and content nearly every single week, and tons more over at the 52Qs community. And like I said, would love to see you over there. And if not, that's okay too. That is absolutely okay too. I just appreciate you spending part of your day here with me. I know you have a ton of options out there on YouTube, and just know that I appreciate you. But that is going to do it for me this week. I do hope you've had a stellar week, and I look forward to hearing amazing things about your next week. And I know it's going to be amazing. How do I know that? Because I trust and believe that the universe has amazing plans just for you. Until next time, peace. The 52Qs podcast is copyright 2025 818 Studios, all rights reserved. The music played in the podcast is copyright of their respective owners and is used with permission and for educational purposes only. For more information, including joining the community, submitting your cue for review, or becoming a member subscriber of 52Qs, head over to 52qs.com.